Okay, so today we are going to be starting our factoring unit. So factoring is a huge part of algebra. You maybe touched on it in Algebra 1 a little bit, but didn't go into super great depths with that. But with Algebra 2, we are going to be learning a lot of different factoring methods. Right now, this chart makes 0 sense because we don't know how to do any of this stuff yet, okay? But eventually this chart is going to make a whole lot of sense. In fact, this is the way that your mind's just going to kind of flow through these problems, okay? It's just a graphic chart. You're going to see it a lot this unit. So we will be just kind of going through this whole unit, okay? The first thing, you're going to get annoyed with me saying this unit because I'm going to say it so often. Always check for a GCF first. Okay, we always check for a GCF first. So GCF, if we don't know what that is, that means greatest common factor. So write that down if you don't know what GCF stands for. And if we just kind of rationalize through that, greatest common factor, greatest means biggest, so the biggest common factor, the biggest factor that they all have in common, okay? That's what GCF is. So from there, once we've done that, sometimes they'll have a GCF, sometimes they won't, but from there we count how many terms we have left that we're dealing with, okay? If we have 2 terms, we hope that it's going to fall under one of these methods for factoring, okay? This first method is called difference of squares. We are going to be talking about that one today. The other 2 we'll talk about next class. If we have 3 terms, we have a method that we'll use for trinomials is what we call those. We're not going to learn that today. That will be next class as well. And then if we have 4 terms, we do what's called grouping, and we are going to do that today, okay? So first things first, taking out a GCF, okay? So when we do that, we want to look at first just the coefficients of both terms. So in this case, we have a 2 and a 4. So we want to think, what is the biggest number that they both have in common, okay? Don't get this confused with the biggest number that they would both go into, okay? It's the biggest number that goes into them. So if we think about it, 2 and 4 both have a 2, okay? Same thing with the x's. If this guy has x squared, so 2 x's, if this guy has 1, well, they both have x to the first, okay? So once we figured out that GCF, then we just take it out. So we just divide it out of both of those terms. What do I mean by that? 2x squared divided by 2x. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. X squared divided by x, dividing the same variable, I subtract the exponents, it's just x to the first, okay? And then I have plus 4x divided by 2x would be 4 divided by 2 is 2, x divided by x cancels. So take a minute, look at that. Hopefully it's clicking, okay? Want you to try this next one, so pause the video, okay? 3x and 6, you should have taken out a 3. They both have a 3. They don't have a variable in common because one has an x, the other one doesn't. When we take that 3 out, 3x divided by 3 is just 1x, and 6 divided by 3 is a plus 2. Okay? If I wanted to check to make sure I'm doing this correctly, I am more than welcome to just distribute this back out, and I should end up with this answer, okay? And we know how to distribute because we've been doing that forever, okay? So, same thing then if I'm asking you to go from factored form back to standard form, that's all you have to do is just distribute it out. So 3x times 2x squared would just be 6x cubed, and 3x times negative 10 would just be negative 30x, okay? All right, these next 2, I want you to try taking out the GCF. Pause the video here. All right, for this one, 4, 12, and negative 24, those all have a 4 in common. And then we've got x to the third, x squared, and x. Those all have x to the first in common, so 4x was my GCF. And then I take that out of each term. So 4x cubed divided by 4x would just be x squared. 12x squared divided by 4x would just be 3x. And negative 24x divided by 4x would just be negative 6. Okay, and then the last one, t to the 7th minus t. Both of those have a t. When you take that out, t to the 6th and minus 1. Okay, there we have it. That's how we take out a GCF. So that's the first thing we always, always, always check for. Why are we doing this? Why do we use factored form? Why do we factor? Okay, we do this so that we can solve polynomial equations. Okay, we're not quite there yet, but we're making our way there. Okay, so that's why we're learning all of these methods, is so that eventually we can solve these big equations. Okay, the next thing, difference of squares. Okay, 3 things have to happen for me to be able to use the difference of squares method. Okay, the first thing I need is a binomial. Okay, all that means is 2 terms being added or subtracted. Okay, so 2 terms, if I'm left with 2 terms, that's my first stipulation. The second one is need a subtraction sign between them. Okay, we cannot do this with addition. We have to have a subtraction sign between both terms. And then last but not least, we need both terms to be perfect squares. If they're not perfect squares, this won't work. Okay, what is a perfect square? We've talked about that. We talked about that in our radical unit. Okay, perfect square just means, like for instance, an example of a perfect square would be 36. Okay, 36 is perfect because 6 times 6 equals 36. Okay, so a perfect square just means that a number squared would equal that. Okay, would 35 be a perfect square? Well, no, it wouldn't. Okay, because no 2 whole numbers would multiply to give me 35, 2 of the same whole number. Okay, so how we do this? Here is the formula that we need for difference of squares. So write this down. A minus b times a plus b. A minus b times a plus b. Okay, so we're factoring. We look. Can we take out a GCF between x squared and negative 64? Nope. Okay, those don't have a GCF. So now we check. I've got 2 terms. I have a subtraction sign in between them. And then last but not least, are they perfect squares? Well, let's find out. Can I square root both of these terms? Well, the square root of x squared is just x. We'll call that a. The square root of 64 is 8. We'll call that b. Okay? And again, this is my formula right here. So my final answer would just be x minus 8, x plus 8. Okay, pause the video. I want you to try number 2. Okay, so we tried to take out a GCF. They did not have one. We ask ourselves, do we have 2 terms, subtraction sign in the middle, and are they perfect squares? They sure are. The square root of 9v squared would be 3v. The square root of 4 would be 2. So you should have put 3v minus 2, 3v plus 2. That's my final answer. Okay. Quick question. Would this 3v plus 2 times 3v minus 2 be the same thing? Sure would, okay? Reason for that is that we can multiply in any order, okay? 3 times 2 is the same thing as 2 times 3. So same thing with factors like this. I can always flip the order. So just know that difference of squares. It's a minus b times a plus b, but it's also a plus b times a minus b. It doesn't matter what way you write it, okay? All right, quickly, see if you can figure out how to do 3 and 4. So pause the video right here. Okay, 3, if you tried to take out a GCF, nope, didn't have one, okay? And then we look, do we have 2 terms? Do we have a subtraction sign? Sure don't, okay? They are perfect squares, but there is no subtraction sign. So this will not be able to be factored. We call it prime, okay? And then number 4, always, always, always check for a GCF. Hopefully that didn't trip you up here. These do have a GCF. They both have 10. Take that out, I get y squared minus 4. And then we ask ourselves, can that be factored further? Is that difference of squares? What's on the inside? Sure is, right? 2 terms, subtraction sign, and they're both perfect. Square root of y squared is just y, and the square root of 4 is 2, okay? So this becomes y minus 2, y plus 2, but do not forget, if you take a GCF out, he's coming to the party, okay? So make sure you drop it down to the final answer. That GCF always makes it to the final answer. That's one thing that a lot of people mess up on these, is that they just forget to bring that GCF to the party, okay? So make sure you don't forget about them. Cool. All right. Method 3, grouping, okay? This is what we always use when we have 4 terms, okay? There are some other factoring methods that you'll learn with 4 terms, but you won't learn those until Algebra 3 or College Algebra, okay? This is the only method we use in Algebra 2 for 4 terms. So if we will use factor by grouping when we have what's called a polynomial. Remember, that's just a big fancy word for what these equations look like, that has 4 terms. So, given the following example, we want to follow the steps to factor it by grouping. So, same as all factoring methods, we first look at all the terms and ask ourselves, is there a GCF? And if I look here, there is not for this one. Okay, so we're ready to go ahead and start grouping. So, step 1, group the first 2 terms together and the second 2 terms. What does this look like? Okay, first 2 terms, keep them in the same order. Put them in parentheses, okay? Then we want plus sign, and then we want the second 2 in parentheses. There's always, always, always a plus sign in between. Has to be there, okay? So even if this was like a minus 4y, it's not, okay? But if it was, that minus would just go inside that parenthesis with that 4y, okay? But in this case, again, it wasn't. So just make sure that there's always a plus sign between your 2 sets. From there, we then want to find a GCF between the first 2 and one between the second 2, okay? So y cubed plus 3y squared, what do they both have? Well, they don't have a coefficient in common, but they both do have 2 y's, okay? And when I take out y squared, I end up with y to the first plus 3. Perfect. Okay, keep my plus sign here. 4y plus 12. What do those both have? Hopefully you said 4, okay? And when I take out that 4, this also becomes y plus 3. 4y divided by 4 is y, 12 divided by 4 is 3. Okay, so here's the biggest step. Here's the most important thing. If you have done this correctly, these should match perfectly, okay? If they don't, you did something wrong. Go back, okay? These problems are rarely wrong, okay? You are probably the one who is wrong if you didn't get these to match perfectly, okay? In this case, they did, so that means I did this correctly. My final answer is just write the outsides in one set of parentheses and then copy the insides once. That's it. That's the final answer, okay? That is how we group. We're going to follow those exact same steps on example 1. So here we go. Check for a GCF. I look, I think about it. Nope, they don't have one. Okay, so I'm ready to group the first 2 together, close it, plus sign, group the second 2 together. That's step 1. Then look for a GCF. 5t to the 4th, 20t cubed. 5 and 20 both have 5. 4 t's and 3 t's, they both have 3. When I take that out, I'm left with 1 t plus 4. Okay, 6t and 24, they both have 6. When I take that out, I'm left with t plus 4. My final answer is just outsides together, insides one time. There we have it. Okay, I'm going to let you help me start number 2, and then I'm going to let you work through that one on your own. Okay, so let's start this together. So again, always, we check for a GCF. So if I look between 12, 10, negative 36, and negative 30, what's a number that would go into all of those? What's something I'm noticing that they all have in common? Well, the first thing that pops into my mind is that they're all even. All those numbers are even, which means that 2 is a factor, right? Okay, so we'll start with just taking out a 2. What about p to the 4th, p cubed, p squared, p? Well, if one has 4, one has 3, one has 2, and one has 1, they all have 1. So 2p is going to be my GCF. I'm going to take that out of all of these. So 12 divided by 2 is 6. P to the 4th, if I take 1 away, I'm left with 3. 10 divided by 2 is 5. If I have 3 and I take 1 away, I'm left with 2. Negative 36 divided by 2 is negative 18. P. And then, lastly, negative 15. Okay. GCF, just go ahead and drop him to the bottom. Okay, he's coming to the party, so put him down in your final answer. And now what I want you to do is go and group these. Go and group the insides. See if you can figure this one out. So pause the video here. Work with somebody around you if you want. Okay, what we should have done is grouped first 2 together, plus sign, second 2 together. First 2, both have a p squared. When you take that out, you get 6p plus 5. The next 2, negative 18p and negative 15, they both have a negative 3. And when you take that out, you get 6p plus 5. So, lastly, put my outsides together. Copy my insides just once. And make sure that GCF's in the front, and we're done. Okay, your homework is on Canvas. Get it done before you leave today. That's the goal. Good luck.